So then we're ready for our main event, Brian. The 6-man tag team championship with Samoa Joe, Hobbs, and Poopy against Page and Kingston and Hook. And we knew they were going to run over because the bell started 6 minutes left in regulation time. And did you do the count on the opening salvo from Hangnail, Page, and Shapoopy?
No.
They started by locking up, and Page hit Shapoopy with 28 fake-looking forearms. Not only did he not even go to a knee, but they immediately went out of that into a running spot. Do you know how much money you would have had to pay any babyface in the wrestling business 40 years ago to tell them, okay, I want you to hit the fucking heel in the face 28 times and then shoot him off? The guy would have given his notice. What the fuck? So they did all the same shit they usually do. And for some reason, they're intent on having Hook involved in this where people are going to just laugh at him because he so obviously doesn't belong. And then about 5 minutes into the overrun, Hobbs took Page to the stage. That sounded like I was trying to do a limerick there, didn't it? Hobbs takes Hangnail up onto the stage and power slams him off the stage through a table to the floor so that he's there for the rest of the fucking night. And back in the ring, Hobbs puts Hook in the torture rack badly, sideways, not like Luger would upside down. And Hook tapped out. And that was it. So they're building in, what is it, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a world title match. And the world champion and the top challenger were on opposite sides of this 6-man. And they finished it with the challenger not getting the win and the champion laying in the goddamn orchestra pit in the back of the arena. Was that about what happened?
Yeah. You know, it's weird with Hook. There was a time where he was the best protected person in AEW, you could argue. Fans were chanting for him. He didn't do anything. It was kind of, they were just into the character. Now we've seen it. And like you said, he doesn't belong in there with...
Now, well, that's the problem is now we've seen it. It never went anywhere.
Yeah.
And now he's just this kind of skinny kid with a funny haircut standing next to these big guys, and nobody believes it. But Tony's thing, I'll say this and I'll be done. Tony's thing is he thinks that most people or the majority of people think like he does, that once somebody is over in his mind, oh, he's over now, so that he can go away for 6 months. And then when he comes back, we'll just mention briefly in passing was something that he did 9 months ago now, and they'll remember it, and they'll be right with it. And everybody's always the same. Nobody ever changes. If Okada was over to him 5 years ago, then he'll be over now, even though Okada's obviously crippled, broke down, unmotivated, don't give a shit, whatever his problem is. He can't see it. He doesn't see that anything changes and that he thinks everybody will remember everything, no matter how long ago it was. And there are some things that qualify for that.
Maybe they would.
And every move he ever made is not one of them.
And maybe they would if he was actually good at writing TV. Instead of just throwing things against the wall and then booking half the things to happen on Saturday.
Good point.
Well, that was the briefest Dynamite review I think we've ever done.
There's nothing to it anymore. And I mean,
well, you said it earlier when I never even thought of it just in that context. I think it was the Moxley Darby post-match stuff and the Garcia match. It's the same people interacting this way What'd you say? When was the last episode they didn't do this? I don't know. They've been doing this forever. The same things keep happening and the roster doesn't grow. It's the same people doing them over and over and over again.
And you mentioned this earlier, and I don't even know if I gave you a full answer, but the roster ain't going to grow because there's nobody left. He's raided all the other international companies. Everybody that's worth a shit in the United States is tied up. He blew a number of big signings that he was able to do previously when all those loopholes weren't closed and there were guys he could get. And either it didn't work out like with Punk, or it at some points he would bring people, we've talked about it, where you would think, okay, this guy could make a difference and show up to big fanfare, Edge. And he makes people that are stars already not stars anymore and just part of the crew within weeks. So I don't know what else different they're going to. If this was a territory anywhere in wrestling, anywhere before the last 20 years or so, the promoter would have said, I'm going to fire the booker and I'm going to get a new booker that's going to bring in almost a completely different crew. And he would fire the booker and he would hire another booker and he would say, this guy, and this guy are my guys. They're protected. You can't get rid of them. Otherwise, draw me some money. And the whole roster would change. The whole presentation would change. And it would look completely different except for those loyal, local over guys that the promoter didn't want to get rid of. And that made it look completely different. And then you could revitalize something. That's not possible here because Tony won't get anybody else to book. I don't know who it would be if he did. And there's no way to change the roster. There's nobody else.
Well, those were the ratings. AEW Dynamite.
Yeah. And the ratings are all late also, and they're all down. And it's the beginning of the end.